Hello, welcome to my home. My name is Lisa and you've reached my channel about stitching. I hope everybody's having a good day. Today is Saturday. Sorry, there went Marshall. Today is Saturday, February, I don't know, maybe 4th, something like that, 5th. And I am on my way to work here in a couple of hours, and I thought, well, might as well just do an update, and then I can put some of these little piles away. So, hope everybody is creating something fun. I've been having it's been a little over a week since I've been here on this channel. I have done another video on my other thrift store decorating channel, and so if you haven't seen that, you can head over to Decorating the Thrifty Way with Lisa Abbey on YouTube and see what I've been up to there. But anyway, we'll talk about stitching today and quilting a little bit. I have a quilt finish and I have a cross stitch finish, and then I have some stuff that I've worked on in both areas. So let's just get going. As far as my quilt finish, my goal last week was to get the quilting finished on this wall hanging behind me. And so I was able to get that done, and I got the binding on. And boy, I was having nothing but trouble with my machine. It was funny, I had been trying to edit a different video first before I worked on the quilting, the binding. My dogs always find something to chat about. They want to be on this video too. Okay, you're good. Easy. Okay. So anyway, I had been trying to do the editing, and I literally worked on it for about 2 hours. I could get it all put together real nice, and then I would export it, and then I could never find it anywhere in my documents and my pictures, anywhere. So frustrating. And this is on my editing software that I pay for monthly. So I was determined. I thought, no, I'm doing this and I'm going to put it together. So I went into my laptop and I found just the little video editor thing that you get in the laptop. And wouldn't you know, within 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes, I had the 3 little clips all put together and it was uploading no problem. I got it up onto YouTube with no problem. And literally I had spent hours. So anyway, so sometimes I guess buying all the fancy stuff just doesn't always work with me. Just give me some basics. I don't need to know about lighting and all of that. I just need it to get together and get up on YouTube, right? So anyway, so I worked on that, and then while I finally saw that it was headed up to YouTube, and I thought, okay, I can move on to the next thing. And it was like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I mean, I was already had a full day in and was already tired. But anyway, I thought, no, I want to get this binding put on so that I can just finish hand stitching it and it'll be all ready. And then I had all kinds of trouble with my sewing machine. It felt like the feed dogs wasn't pulling it in. And so literally, like, I extended my stitches thinking that maybe that was what was slowing me down. I moved my speed on my sewing machine full max. I mean, I did everything I knew. And then I thought, well, maybe something is blocking my feed dogs or something. So I took all that throat plate thing apart and cleaned it all out and put it back in there. Anyway, but literally I was just like forcing this through. I was pulling it, and I thought, my quilt is going to be so wonky. And it is to some degree, but it's okay. It seems like once quilts hang for a little while, they kind of chill out a little bit and kind of smooth out. So in a couple of weeks, it'll be just fine. But anyway, so I've got that finished, and then I decided I wanted to make a little heart banner, so I did that on my other channel. And so just for something fun for Valentine's Day. But anyway, so I got that checked off my goal list. And then last time I showed you a freebie that I ran across on Instagram by Boutini, And in the last video, if you're interested, I showed her Instagram name, and I'll try to link it, or not link it, but just list it below in the description box. But anyway, I was able to get that one finished. Real fun stitch. So I'm trying to, I'm kind of mulling over how I want to finish it. While I was at work yesterday, I was daydreaming about maybe just making it into a heart shape and putting it on a little oil can as like a base, or maybe even doing it on a bigger heart and putting it on a candlestick. We'll see. I might just make it into a pillow and make those other things just regular hearts. So anyway, but if I don't hurry up, Valentine's Day is going to be here and gone. So, but there's always Sweetest Day, right? Okay, so those were my finishes. I don't have anything fully finished except, well, I guess I have the quilt, but that's about it. Okay, then as far as the stitching, on Wednesdays I've been working on Summer at Hollyberry Farm by Stacy Nash, just because I am dying to get this finished. It's been in my pile way too long. So on my last video, I hadn't worked on it yet that day. So I think I've worked on it 2 times since I've shown it to you. So I was able to get the bunting put on the porch, and then I finished the cream stitching on the house. And then I did more on the bottom border. I had been to about maybe here, and so I was able to put quite a bit more on the border. And you know how that fear when you're doing a border, is it going to line up? Is it going to match? And so it was funny, I was folding it and I could tell that I could see through it with the light. Anyway, I feel like it's not going to be too crazy to get it to line up. So I had already decided that I was just going to fudge my way through it, and nobody will know. So, but anyway, I've got quite a bit of progress on that. I thought I need to still do the window, the back stitching in all the windows. I haven't decided what color I want to use on that yet. So, and I couldn't make any decisions the other night when I was working on it, so I thought, oh, just do some border stitching. It'll be fine. Okay, and then I went and tried to find my cover picture for this one, and for some reason, I can't find it. But last night, I wanted to do some stitching, but I wasn't really feeling up to doing a whole lot of necessarily counting. So I pulled out Miss Baxter's House by Stacy Nash. And then I just was able to, I already had the roof outlined. I had done maybe, I don't know, 5 rows up at the top of the peak. And so I was just able to fill that in and finish the roof up. So I felt good. I got a little bit accomplished, but yet I didn't have to concentrate too much. I was watching something on TV, and so those were my 3 cross stitch things I worked on, basically because I worked on quilting in between, so that kind of took up a little bit of my time, but I was happy with making a little bit of progress. But I'm kind of getting a little bit stalled out on some of these, so I need to bring in something new next week. Not necessarily new, but something that I haven't worked on in a while, just to kind of get my juices flowing again, because I'm starting to get to the point where I'm not real quick to grab any project. So, and I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to hurry and look through my stash probably tonight and see what I haven't worked on in a while, and what I want to try to make. I had done some decorating, and I put a couple little pillows out that were just red alphabets, and I really want to start a couple more of those. I have a little area in my bedroom above my closet. There's just like a shelf that I have all kinds of white pictures on up there. And I haven't taken that stuff down and dusted it in probably, I don't know, a year or 2. So I noticed there's quite a few cobwebs up there, and I thought, well, I definitely need to get up there and do that. And I thought, ooh, that would be pretty to put some kind of little picture, like a framed picture cross stitch of just red alphabets up there. So I'm going to try to find some larger count and just do some alphabets and doing them in red, and then put them in a frame to go up there. And then I thought maybe that would motivate me to clean that area. I always have to motivate myself to clean by decorating it somehow. Okay, and then I wanted to do a little giveaway because I haven't done one in quite a while, and I don't know why. I think about making things all the time, but then I just never really get around to it. So I made a little scissor fob. So it has, like, I almost thought it looked like a spool, but it could almost be like a little bobbin of floss. And it has scissors on it and just some different shades of pink and red buttons on there. And so I just thought, this is a little something. I made one for myself too while I was at it, and made one for my friend Loretta, and I put a few more charms on mine. But I don't know if you've ever had scissor fobs, and sometimes people are probably thinking, well, what's the point, you know? But what's the point in half of the stuff we do? It's just the cute things that make us smile throughout the day. And I just love that sound when I go to grab my scissors and I hear that little jingle and I see the little pretties and I think, oh, this is a fun hobby. So all you have to do is just say scissors in the comments and you'll be entered to win this little fob. Like I said, nothing earth-shattering. I just wanted to send out a little thank you for joining me and watching me ramble on about stitching. So that's pretty much the cross stitch part of this episode. I did do some more quilting, and so if you're not interested in that, I thank you for joining me. But if you want to stick around and see what else I've been doing, I would love that too. So, okay. So I had shown before that I am making a Christmas wall hanging to go behind my dining room table, and it's a Lori Holt Bee in My Bonnet pattern, and it's called Tall Pines. And so I had already made 2 blocks on the last video when I was with you, and so I was able to make 2 more. So now I'm up to 4. And since I'm pretty happy with my colors that I picked out, I just went ahead, before I made the 2 blocks, I just cut out quite a few blocks to get me going. And so they are all ready in little baskets, all stacked up, ready to go. And then last time I talked about another quilt that I want to make, which was Farm Sweet Farm by Lori Holt. And I was going to follow along with Jeanette on Crafty Cottage Stitches, and she's going to be making one. And so I wanted to join in. And so I have made decisions. And last time, I forgot to bring my tablet over here. I was going to show you pictures of what the quilt's going to look like. But if you're interested, in the last video I talked about it and I showed a picture of it, or you could just Google Farm Sweet Farm by Lori Holt and you'll have a picture of it within moments. But I did figure out that instead of a red barn, I'm going to be doing a brown barn with just cream on the trim of the doors and whatnot. And I started making some of the blocks. There's pieced blocks that go all through it, and so I think my main colors are going to be this tealy colored blue, brown, creams. And so I have a bunch of them started, and I have the little pieces to do the the points of the star. Although I wasn't thinking real clearly, and I noticed that there's an easy way to screw up. I have the colors reversed. But I'm still going to use the block because I still think it's pretty. But it's meant to have this color be the same as the points of the star. So if you're making this quilt, be careful not to do as I do and get them messed up. But I still think it's a pretty block, so I'm still going to use it because I don't like to rip out. But anyway, so that was fun. I had a real good time going through some of my fabric and picking things that I like. I picked out the colors that I want to do for the tractor, and I think it's going to be a cool quilt. And my plan is to put it on this wall behind me. And originally I had talked last time about just doing just the barn segment and then just some of the critters at the bottom. But I've noticed that there's a lot of wasted space, you know, from where my quilts end back here towards the floor. So I don't know, I might end up making the whole thing. We'll see. But having a lot of fun quilting again. I hadn't been doing much of it for a while because once I started doing cross stitch again, it's just such an easy hobby to just chill out on the couch, and you feel like you're still included, you know, with I feel like I'm still watching TV with Larry, and I'm, you know, participating with him also at the same time, where when I'm quilting I feel like I'm in a different room. But anyway, I love doing it, and it's been a lot of fun. So still haven't decided. I'm thinking about doing my applique just be fusible, just because I know I won't end up really washing this quilt. It's just going to be used on the wall mainly. And I just want the quick impact of just fusing it on and doing the blanket stitch. I'd much rather do the blanket stitch than an applique stitch. But we'll see. The jury is still out on that. Haven't made much decision on that yet, but we'll see. Okay. What else? Oh, I had a question. I have a quilt that hangs in my sewing room behind where I often film, and I've had a question about this quilt and where they could get the pattern, and it just says fabric. And I had just been in a quilt shop somewhere, and I had seen basically, I think they had done quilt. They had spelled out quilt. I don't think they had done fabric. But anyway, so I just thought, well, I want to do it. And so there's no pattern to it. I just cut out 1.5-inch strips and then cut out a bunch of little 1.5-inch squares. And I basically just laid them out and just sewed them and just spelled out the word I wanted. And if I had to make some kind of a curve or whatever, I would just do a half square triangle. So, but it's funny. I mean, the seams are all, I mean, the intersections are all kind of wonky and everything, but I love it. It just hangs up on my wall behind where I do a lot of rubber stamping and whatnot. So, but anyway, I wanted to show it up close because someone had a question, and I had sent them a picture, but I told them I would talk about it. So there's that. So I think the next quilt that I want to finish up and change it from a UFO to a finish is going to be this spring one that I talked about last video. And I thank everybody for all their encouragement on just finish it up. Don't worry about the intersections that aren't matching or whatever. And so that's what I'm going to do. So I've decided I'm just going to try to work on finishing up the applique and then trim it up. And then I might look through my stash to see, I'm going to hang it up on the wall behind my dining room table, I think, because I feel like I've had that quilt up there forever and I need to jazz it up a little bit. So I'm going to hang it up there or just pin it up there and see if I need it to be a little bit bigger. I might try to do some kind of little border past those half square triangles, and maybe they won't be such a focus of interest. We'll see. But so that's going to be one of my goals for the next week. I want to try to work on that. I want to continue doing more blocks and work on some cross stitch at the same time. I need to finish up. I started cleaning this corner of my living room, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen, let me see if I can spin you a little bit. I have a ladder full of all kinds of trinkets and whatnots up there. And that's another one of those situations where I don't think I've washed that stuff in ages. So I was sitting there last night looking up there, and Larry looked over me. He says, "What are you looking at up there?" And I'm like, well, I'm just trying to decide what I want to keep up there, what new things I might still have in the basement that I don't have room for on any other flat surface in our home, and see if I can jazz that up a little bit. So I'm thinking maybe that might be my next plan of attack, because I really want to focus on getting my house all kind of spruced up, ready to go during this winter, so that once spring hits, I can really focus on getting some of the projects done out in my yard and not feel like I'm behind as soon as spring hits. I want to get out there and accomplish some stuff. And if I'm not working in here and distracted in here, if all my stuff in here is done, then I feel like I will be better prepared to conquer my yard. I have so many flower beds that just kind of got away from me. So I know some of them I'm just going to get rid of, just because now that I love to cross stitch so much, I don't really even go outside and sit very often, which I want to change that too. I want to go out and stitch. If I'm going to stitch outside and get some fresh air. But anyhow, it's fun to have plans and to have little goals. And it's funny how some of my goals are so little. I like to check things off. And so, like, just something stupid like my thermostat. I hadn't changed the date. And so I know literally it's been like a year and a half. It's just scrolled saying set time and date, set time and date. And if you wanted to check the temperature or whatever, you'd have to go back, and then that screen would come up. But it's like, so finally the other day I did it. It took me 30 seconds, and now I can just glance up and see what the temperature is. And I thought, oh my gosh, there are so many stupid little things just like that I put off and put off. Like there's a light hanging right there. So there, my husband Larry had made me a really cool bird cage that hung there. I don't know, it's probably been 5 years now, and I still have that light up there. So it just has a random cord just hanging. Why don't I finish projects? So I'm just looking around seeing stupid little things that I haven't taken care of, and I'm writing them on my list and checking them off, and it's making me smile if nothing else. So like now when I look at my thermostat and see that, I think, oh, look at me. I am just so thorough. Oh, I probably should edit that out. You guys are probably like, what is going on? Okay, well, I still have a little bit of time, so I might try to clean my bird cage before I go to work so I don't have to do it tomorrow. But I hope whatever you are doing today, I hope it's bringing you joy. I hope you're finding some things to be creative about, and find some little silly thing that's been bugging you and finish it. And so if you haven't changed the time on your thermostat, I suggest it. It's been a fulfilling experience. Oh, I'm such a dork. Okay, you guys, have a great day. And if you're interested in decorating or anything, here's another shameless plug. I'm trying to grow my other channel. So if you're interested in seeing what I'm working on around my house, it's called Decorating the Thrifty Way with Lisa Abbey. And I do post once in a while, like I posted the other day how my dogs had ripped open a bag of paper shreds on Instagram. I showed it there. My husband brings home paper shreds for my bird cage, and so I guess the bag of paper shreds were just very tempting. So they tore open the bag, and literally you couldn't even see my rug when I walked in the back door. And so they just really like to play in that paper. And it's still in there if anybody is curious. I've been sweeping up the edges of it and kicking it into another pile because it just brings Marshall so much joy. And so, but it's going to get picked up today, and he's going to have to find some joy somewhere else. What a mess. But if you want to follow me on Instagram, which was the whole point of that little jaunt, my Instagram name is LisaAbbey9137. And so if you're interested in seeing some of the antics of my dogs and things like that, you can follow me over there. And that's also a great way to show me pictures of what you are into. So I've been getting a lot of pictures of dishes since I cleaned out my dish cabinet on my other channel. And so I've been getting lots of pictures of dish collections, which has been very inspiring. And now I want to go thrift storing even more than I did before. But I've been good. I haven't gone. It's been like 3 weeks since I've gone. So I'm sure I won't be able to hold out much longer. So maybe there'll be more stuff. Everybody wants me to take you with me to my thrift store because everybody's like, I just can't imagine all the stuff you find there. So if I get brave, and now that I can do, and when I say editing, I don't really mean that I'm playing with lighting or scroll. I still haven't learned to scroll anything across the bottom, which would be nice because I replay these afterwards and I realize that I say the wrong thing all the time. But I think it's vague enough that you understand that I'm just saying the wrong year or whatever. But now that I know how to splice things together, I feel like I'm much more apt to take you along with me to the thrift store. So that might be one of my goals here this month, is to try to do a little tour there, because I can just do a little snippet of an area, where before I used to have to just hit pause and try to get to the next point that I wanted to do in the video before my camera shut off and I couldn't add on to the video. So now that I know how to edit a little bit, I think it takes off some of the pressure. So I can show you around the thrift store. And then if somebody's looking at me like, who is this chick? What is she doing? I can hurry and hit stop. Okay, I've chatted and rattled on long enough. So have a great day, and hope you'll come back and see me again.